Send in the clowns. The clowns.
Oh, people, what's happening? What's happening? I've been looking forward to that one, man. And yeah, listen, these are some of the comments, that we've had to endure from the Bruno fan base, and yeah, listen, I had to do that one. Big up to my guy Fitz, big up to yourself each and every time. And you know what it is? We're always fighting against the grain. You're always fighting against majority opinion, which, again, you're never going to get me agreeing with the majority opinion. It's just that way. It's just the way it is. And yeah, listen, Bruno Fernandes, a guy that does divide opinion, and I think for me, it's very crucial for me to kind of open people's eyes, because he's a player. As you can see by the intro, guys, yeah, there was a lot of comments, big up to Exedra, big up yourself, bro. There's a lot of comments from fans, that seem to think that this Bruno Fernandes is the best thing that they've ever seen, and I think if you're someone that is just too invested in numbers, you're going to ignore the obvious, which is the performances, and it's sad to see where the game's gone because, as I said before, people only care about numbers and disregard performances, and for me, performances for me should be the indicator as how you judge a player, never through numbers, because, the way certain teams are set up, if you're like a player that the game is revolved around, then you shouldn't really be surprised when you get numbers, and someone like Bruno Fernandes, I've mentioned this numerous times, when you're a player that's tasked with doing literally everything, corners, free kicks, penalties, you're the captain, the highest paid, we shouldn't really be surprised when he gets the numbers, and as I said, I've watched every game more or less since Bruno's came to the club, and I can probably count on one hand how many top performances he's had. That's the truth, whether people want to agree or not, he's a player that is, for me, just is very much overrated, and I'll keep the same energy. We need to get rid of Bruno Fernandes in the summer, and if we don't, you're going to continuously see players that I believe we can get more out of. You're going to see them really not do much because you've got a player there that literally just dominates literally everything to the detriment of other players in the team, But guys, big up yourselves for coming through each and every time. As I said, we are fighting against the grain because, we live in a very much a sheep world where everyone has the same opinion. And as soon as you go up against a player that is hyped up in the media, or by fans, a lot of fans don't want to have the conversation. But the one thing you'll get on this channel is just pure conversation, whether we agree or not. It's about having a conversation about players that are hyped up in the media, and Bruno Fernandes is definitely one of them, Big up to everyone that come through yesterday with the live Q&A, big up. That was a good one. I think we went for I think just under 2 hours. You know, I was actually looking to go for half an hour, but I actually extended it to 2 hours, which was fun. It was good. So big up to yourselves for coming through. And guys, as always, make sure you sub to the channel, make sure you share the channel, and make sure you hype the channel as well, and smash that like button, guys. Make sure the channel's getting the ratings it deserves. Yeah. So big up to yourselves. And listen, I am going to compare Bruno Fernandes. So we've got some of the great number 10s, you know, that football's ever seen. The likes of Ronaldinho, Zidane, Mesut Ozil, Dennis Bergkamp, and Francesco Totti. Now, the reason why I've picked those 4 players and comparing them with Bruno Fernandes is because for too many times we're told, you know, Bruno Fernandes is the best 10 in the world, even though if you open your eyes, you realize that there's not many number 10s that play now anyway, because the way the game's gone, most midfields are playing for free. So there's not many teams that play with a number 10. You know, if you look at the Premier League, the only teams that play with a number 10 is Fulham with Emil Smith Rowe. Then you've got Nottingham Forest with Morgan Gibbs-White, Everton with Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, and then you've got Chelsea with Cole Palmer. They're the only teams in the league that predominantly play with a number 10, which is where Bruno's playing. But I would even argue that Bruno's not even playing as a number 10. Bruno's playing as a support striker because he spends most of his time, you know, in the final third trying to get goals. Yeah. And then when the game goes against Manchester United, he drops deep into defense trying to spray balls. That is what he does. So very much he doesn't really play as a number 10 for Manchester United, you know. And just from years of watching football, playing football, coaching football, the number 10 position, yeah, is meant to be the connector. It's meant to be the connect from the midfield to the attack. And usually what happens is that your most talented player usually plays in that position. The reason why I've chosen Ronaldinho, Zidane, Mesut Ozil, Totti, and Dennis Bergkamp is because you've got Dennis Bergkamp, who played in the 4-4-2 era with obviously Thierry Henry, you know, so he was the number 10, but he played as a forward really. Then you've got Ronaldinho, who was a number 10 playing from out wide, you know, and one of the best at it. Zinedine Zidane, you know, many people probably if you're not from the era that I'm from, probably didn't even know that Zinedine Zidane actually played left midfield for Real Madrid. You know what I mean? So they had Figo on the right, then you had a midfield 2 of Beckham and Makelele, I think it was, and then Zidane played from the left with Raul and R9 Ronaldo up top. But then obviously for France, you know, Zidane did play as a number 10 in front of Makelele and Vieira, or Vieira and Petit. And then you've got Francesco Totti, again, just like Dennis Bergkamp. These 2 guys there played as number 10s, but part of a 4-4-2. So if you think of Francesco Totti playing as part of a striking force with Gabriel Batistuta and Antonio Cassano, he was more of the 10 and they were more of the 9. And then you've got Mesut Ozil. So Mesut Ozil for me is probably the closest comparison in terms of the Bruno, because Mesut Ozil did play in the Premier League and Mesut Ozil played as a number 10. So he played as a number 10 behind a striker, you know, has played as a number 10 behind 2 strikers as well. And again, he's someone that has played in the Premier League. And he's another player for me that often gets overlooked by a lot of fans. You know, a lot of fans deem Mesut Ozil lazy. A lot of them deem overrated. But again, I think it's important to understand, you know, the qualities of a Mesut Ozil, you know. Now, for me, yeah, all 4 of those players that I've mentioned, along with Bruno, these are guys that you don't compare numbers with. You know, obviously different era of football, you would say, but I don't think we should forget about standards, you know, because different era of football, we still have to maintain the standards. And if you look at all those players, Bergkamp, Zidane, Ronaldinho, Francesco Totti and Mesut Ozil, at not one point did myself or many others that are from my era ever look at those players as, you know, we only rate them because of numbers. As I said, the number 10 in the team is meant to be the most talented player, and it's meant to be the connector. Now, if I look at all four of those players, Ronaldinho, Zidane, Ozil, Bergkamp, and Totti. Sorry, 5, should I say? Then I would have to say, for me, yeah, the reason why they're for me the best number 10s to play the game or amongst them is just pure quality. You know, these guys very rarely gave the ball away. You know, these guys were, you know, great first players for me. And this is important for me because I look at Bruno Fernandes and he's a shoot first player, or he's a player that plays certain passes to make himself look better. Now, Ronaldinho is a creator, Mesut Ozil is a creator, Dennis Bergkamp's a creator, Francesco Totti is a creator, and Zinedine Zidane's a creator. These guys all scored goals as well, but mainly these guys were there to create for their teammate or for their striking partner. Yeah, I see too much of Bruno Fernandes, and he's very much what sort of pass makes him looks better in the eyes of many fans. Yeah, the very fact that you've got a guy as well that, yes, granted, he is a good penalty taker. Yeah, but if you remember the season when Anthony Martial, you know, was going for a golden boot, you know, a guy that's very much criticized as well by the fan base. When you've got someone like Bruno in the team, yeah. Now, if Bruno was a true teammate and he knows the criticism that Anthony Martial gets, the amount of penalties United had in that season, I believe Bruno scored 9 penalties or something like that in the league from that season, which is crazy. And I think he was actually awarded, I could be wrong, it might have been something like 15 plus penalties in that season. Yeah. The very fact that, you know, he really didn't, I think he allowed Martial to take 1 penalty. And I think that was in Europe. Yeah. The very fact that he didn't allow Martial to take penalties in that season just shows you an insight into his character, because he knows, Bruno Fernandes, how he stays relevant with the fan base is through numbers. Yeah. But when you look at the greats of the game, we don't care about numbers with them. Yeah. Their numbers weren't even great. But there's no one here that can say that the likes of Ronaldinho, Zidane, Francesco Totti, Dennis Bergkamp, Mesut Ozil are not top tier players. Impossible. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, and big up to yourselves for coming through, guys. Make sure you smash the like. Make sure you sub to the channel. Big up to Red Devils as well. Big up to my guy Xedra for coming through as well. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the numbers. Yeah. So again, we've got Bruno Fernandes, Mesut Ozil, Ronaldinho, Zinedine Zidane, Totti, Dennis Bergkamp. Yeah. And again, if you look at all those players, yeah, all those players there, number 10 on their back. Yeah. Dennis Bergkamp wore 10 for Arsenal. Totti wore 10 for Roma. I know Zidane's number 5, but he wore number 10 for France. Ronaldinho, 10 for club and country. Mesut Ozil wore number 10. Initially, he was number 8 for Arsenal. No, sorry, for Germany. 11 for Arsenal, and then went to 10 for both club and country. Yeah. And the reason why this is important for me is because all those guys there, the 5 of them, those are what you call number 10s. Again, there are other number 10s around the world from before. You think of the likes of Juan Roman Riquelme, Pablo Aimar, Alessandro Del Piero, Paolo Di Canio, Eric Cantona. These guys were number 10s. Yeah. So when we get a player like Bruno Fernandes that is hyped the way he is, again, we have to remember that Bruno Fernandes is a number 8. Yes, he might be playing in a number 10 position. Yeah, but he's actually a number 8. And again, he's not playing as a number 8 for Manchester United, as a number 10 for Manchester United. He is playing as a support striker. He might start off as a number 10, but the majority of his positions he takes up is as a support striker. Yeah. Now, let's just go through the numbers. Yeah. So all these numbers here are based on the best seasons that each player had individually. Yeah. So let's go through Bruno Fernandes, the 2025-26 season, which is happening right now. 8 goals, 17 assists, four penalties, 1 free kick, 5 corners, and 2 indirect free kicks. If someone can put in a chat for me as well, if you take off the set pieces rather than me work it out, because I'm trying to go through everything else, just let me know how many each of these players would have in terms of the taking off all the set pieces. So again, I've already dissected Bruno Fernandes' assists. You know, a lot of his assists in there are not true assists. You know, whether people want to argue that or not is entirely down to them. But for me, it's not. A lot of them are not really true assists. So as you can see, he's got 8 goals, yeah? And I believe if you take off the set pieces, I think he has 4 league goals. So, and the reason why this is important for me, yeah, is because the thing with Bruno, yeah, if you was to take him off of the set pieces, you will start to see, yeah, just how much just how ordinary of a player that he is. You know, and I mean that truthfully, because his game is hyped up, because you cannot tell me that Bruno Fernandes puts in a great 90-minute performance. I've yet to see him play good for 90 minutes. What he usually does is stink it up for like 60, 70 minutes and then come away with some GA. And then all of a sudden, you know, it's one of them things where people are hyping him up. And these are the kind of things that we need to be aware of. So Bruno has 8 goals, yeah, but take away his set pieces, I believe he has what is it, 4 goals he has? Or the penalty? Sorry, take away the penalties, he has 4 goals. Yeah. Take away the indirect free kicks, the normal free kick, and the corners from set pieces. What does he have? He has 9. Yeah. Is it 9 or is it 10? Yeah, 10. That's the one. Yes, he has 10. Mesut Ozil, 8 goals, 20 assists, 0 penalties, 2 free kicks, 3 corners, and 4 indirect free kicks. So again, Mesut Ozil wasn't the penalty taker. I think he took, you know, the odd corners, as you can see by there anyway. And then I think he took a couple of free kicks. But again, even if you take off Mesut Ozil's set pieces, you know, he's still got better numbers than Bruno Fernandes, yeah? And again, I'm basing this on, guys, yeah, the very fact that these guys are all meant to be number 10s, yeah? So this is what we're basing it off. And it's their best seasons in terms of creators as well. So Mesut Ozil, someone that is often criticized in this country, yeah, 20 assists. As I said, take off the free kicks, the corners, and the indirect free kicks. What's he left with? 11. Yeah. Moving on to Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho, 26 goals, 24 assists, 9 penalties, 6 free kicks, 3 corners, and 5 indirect free kicks. Yeah. And again, Ronaldinho, for me, I mean, you can't really compare Bruno Fernandes with a Ronaldinho. And this is why I'm doing this, because Ronaldinho is just one of the best players to play the game. Yeah. But when we're trying to compare these players, it's pointless comparing them on ability, because Bruno Fernandes, in comparison to all 5 of these players, is bottom of the pile. Yeah. So we bring the numbers into it, and I want to try and, you know, compare to see if his numbers even stack up with these players, you know, in their best ever seasons. And as you can clearly see, yeah, taking off Ronaldinho's set pieces and corners, his set pieces, yeah, he still has better numbers than Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. And guys, as I said, I'm going through the chat now. Just do me a favor, add up all the players, their best numbers. So tell me what Bruno's best numbers are when you take off the set pieces. Tell me what Ozils are. Tell me what Ronaldinho's are. Tell me what Zidane's are, Totti's and Bergkamps. And I'll run through the rest of them. Why not compare with Messi? Again, because it's ridiculous. So I chose players, yeah. I chose these 5 in particular. Yeah, I could have chose Messi. I could have chose other players. Yeah, but choosing Messi, it would be embarrassing because Messi had serious numbers. But my thing is, when we're comparing him to players like this, yeah, who didn't get mad numbers, this is where the comparison comes into it. Okay, so big up to Fitz says, okay, so Bruno's got 3 goals and 10 assists. If we take off the set pieces, yeah. Mesut Ozil has got 6 goals and 13 assists. And again, Bruno Fernandes still has a chance to improve his numbers, but just taking off the set pieces, you can clearly see, yeah, someone in Mesut Ozil that was ridiculed in this country. In Bruno's best season so far, Mesut Ozil has better numbers from open play. And the reason why open play is key is because, you know, creating something from open play is a lot more harder than doing it from set pieces. Yeah, because set pieces, putting the ball into an area, and if you've got someone that is dominant in the air, for instance, you're ending up getting the assist for that. But to be honest with you, is that more down to the player or is that down to how you put the ball in? You know, Ronaldinho, 11 goals and 16 assists if we're taking off set pieces. Again, Ozil and Ronaldinho both beating Bruno Fernandes' numbers. Zizou. So Zinedine Zidane has, what's this, 1 PG? Okay, so he has 8. No, I'm not talking about. He has, what's Zizou's one? Is that 18 assists we're saying there? How many, the assists there, how many has he got from? So he's got 19 assists, yeah? So what are we saying? He's got 15 assists if we're taking off the free kicks and the indirect free kicks. Or is that part of his goals? Francesco Totti, 13 goals, 11 assists. Again, better as Bruno's best numbers. Who's this one there? This is right. Dennis Bergkamp, 22 goals and 10 assists. Okay, so Zidane's got 17 assists, yeah, from open play. And then he's got what? What's he got? So he's got 17 assists, which mean what? He's got 10 goals. Is that what it is? Yeah. So 10 goals and 17 assists. Yeah. Now, guys, the reason why I'm comparing them, yeah, is because too often, yeah, we're told Bruno Fernandes, you know, is a GA master, a GA merchant. Yeah. I'm clearly showing you now from these 5 players that are not even goal scorers like that. Yeah. Even in Bruno's best season, in terms of creative stats as well, these guys are all beating him from open play. Yeah. And again, this is some of the content, yeah, that Sky Sports don't want to tell you. Yeah. These pundits don't want to tell you because it's all about a narrative. And a lot of fans don't have time to look at because it's about creating a narrative for everyone to be a part of. Yeah. And the reason why I'm mentioning these stats is because Bruno Fernandes cannot light a candle to any of these players as a footballer, but yet we're often told that his numbers, you know, he gets GA. He's GA in his best season, yeah, is not comparable to these guys from open play. It's a fact, yeah? So I'll say it to you one more time, yeah? Bruno Fernandes from open play. Yeah. From open play, he has 3 goals and 10 assists. Again, how many of these are actually real assists? Mesut Ozil, 6 goals, 13 assists. Ronaldinho, 11 goals, 16 assists. Totti, 13 goals, 11 assists. Bergkamp, 12 goals and 10 assists. And then Zinedine Zidane, 10 goals and 17 assists. Yeah? So those are the numbers. Let's move it on to comparing him with Mesut Ozil. Yeah? Again, Mesut, if you was to ask the majority of fans who's better, Bruno Fernandes or Mesut Ozil, I guarantee you a lot of fans will tell you Bruno Fernandes. Yeah? What is that based on? Is that based on numbers? I think so. Because it cannot be based on football. Because as a footballer, Bruno Fernandes is nowhere near the level of Mesut Ozil. Mesut Ozil is what you call a proper number 10. Someone that didn't get mad, that didn't get mad numbers, yeah, but someone that was a pure connector from midfield to attack. Not to mention a World Cup winner as well, and was instrumental in Germany winning the World Cup. Yeah. So the reason why I'm comparing Bruno Fernandes and Mesut Ozil is because Mesut Ozil and Bruno obviously both played in the Premier League, you know, but just looking at the appearances, and again, this is based on, yeah, their best seasons. Their best seasons. So again, this is everything included. Now, if we want to be picky, yeah, Mesut Ozil didn't take penalties. And he wasn't really a regular on free kicks either. Yeah. So again, Bruno's goals would look a lot better by 2, because guarantee you there's penalties in there. As I've already shown you, you take off his penalties, he's got if you take off his penalties, he's got 4 goals. Yeah. So again, 29 appearances for Bruno so far, 35 for Mesut Ozil. 8 goals for Bruno, 6 goals for Mesut Ozil. Assists. Bruno Fernandes, 17. Obviously, he's still got the rest of the season to go. Mesut Ozil, 19. You guys already know the assists that I've been breaking down. And make sure you check it out as well. Bruno Fernandes, fake assist or real assist. A lot of these assists are not real assists, whether people want to agree to that or not. Chances created. Bruno, 133. Mesut Ozil, 146. Now, this chance creation, and I'll remind people again, yeah? The chance creation, guys, how it's counted in today's football is that, and this is where a lot of Bruno's chance created stats are miscued, yeah? Because Bruno takes every free kick, every corner, regardless of how he puts the ball in. If it's a poor ball and a Man United player gets their head to it, that gets counted as a chance created. Yeah? So Mesut Ozil, as I've already explained, didn't take the majority of free kicks or corners in comparison to what a Bruno's taken. Again, Bruno still has a few games to go. Do I expect Bruno to break Mesut Ozil's record in terms of chances created? I do. Because as I said, the way chances are created now, it won't be very hard for him to break that. And again, Bruno Fernandes plays very much spam ball as well. Yeah. Big up to Foxy Danny for coming through. Big up yourself. Big up to Clockenders as well. Says, imagine if we had a proper team when we had Mesut. Mesut Ozil, the top player, man. You know, he was ridiculed in this country for some reason. Big up to Louis as well for coming through. Guys, I will go back to your questions and comments at the end once I've finished discussing this. Let's go on to passes. Yeah. Bruno Fernandes, 1,682 passes. Mesut Ozil, 2,217 passes. Now, again, this could be short passing. It could be long passing. But Mesut Ozil's number there is very high after 35 appearances. Again, Bruno's got another, 6 appearances to try and equal that, which the fact that he plays every minute of every game, shouldn't really be surprised if he doesn't. Yeah. Successful passes, though, is where I'm looking at. Yeah. Mesut Ozil's had 2,217 passes, successful passes of 1,933. Bruno Fernandes, 1,682 passes, successful passes of 1,376. So again, you can clearly see, yeah, in terms of a number 10, yeah, Mesut Ozil offers the control. Bruno Fernandes is more chaos, yeah. The way that I like to see football, I want to see control in my midfield. And when you've got a player like Bruno Fernandes, yeah, that is more interested in GA, that leaves the midfield exposed, you know, and loves to spam balls into boxes, yeah. Why do we ever expect Man United to ever play good football? It's never going to happen. And this is why I keep saying to people, yeah, if you want to see Manchester United play some good football, unfortunately for you, it means that Bruno Fernandes has to leave, because we're never going to be a team that plays a cohesive brand of football, yeah, that plays a cohesive brand of football with a player like this in the team. And right on cue, CR7 fan, the fact that he's called CR7 fan says, bro, you're delusional, yeah? The stats are in front of you. So I'm not a stats man, yeah? But when we're comparing footballers, you know, I've compared him with Bergkamp. Oh, a case. So wait, I'm delusional, yeah? And now he's saying Ozil is way better than Fernandes. He is. Ozil is better than Fernandes. So that means we're on the same page. But big up, man. So anyway, as I said, if any Man United fan out there, yeah, which I am as well, yeah, if any Man United fan wants to see Manchester United play some cohesive football, again, we need midfielders in the summer, at least 3. But the midfield has to not contain Bruno Fernandes, because the problem is, yeah, you're not going to play good football, cohesive football, with this guy in the team, because he's often showed, yeah, he will revert to type, you know, when the game's going against Manchester United. You know, you look at all the best teams in the world, they have a certain degree of patience. Even if things are not going right for them, you know, they'll just keep the ball ticking over. You know, you can see against Leeds, yeah, as soon as Man United went down to 10 men, Bruno just reverted to spam ball, get balls into the box, yeah? And he was poor. But yet again, because he got the assist for Casemiro, is that more because Casemiro is just that good in the air, or is that down to Bruno Fernandes? I think it's more down to Casemiro, yeah? But and this is why, for me, Bruno Fernandes has to leave in the summer, because we are not going to play good football with this guy. And if we're going to get 3 midfielders, which I'm hoping we do, yeah, I don't even mind if we go to a 3 in midfield. You know, I want to see Ahmad play as a 10. I want to see Cunha play as a 10. But first and foremost, I want to see what we do with the outgoings. And there's no way for me that someone like Bruno Fernandes can still be here next season, because we're not going to improve with him in the team. It's just that simple. And the successful passes will show you that. Missed passes, Mesut Ozil, 284. Bruno Fernandes, 277. Now, again, people might say, well, Ozil's got more missed passes than Bruno Fernandes, yeah? But just using your brain, you can see that that's after 35 games, yeah, appearances. Bruno still has 6 more appearances to reach that, and he's only a couple behind Mesut Ozil. So he's definitely going to surpass Mesut Ozil in terms of the missed passes, yeah? Missed passes per 90. Mesut Ozil, 8.1. Bruno Fernandes already has 9.9 missed passes per 90. Incredible. So even after 29 appearances, yeah, he has 9.9 missed passes per 90. Mesut Ozil done that 8.1 after 35 games, yeah? And again, guys, you don't have to agree with me, or you might not understand, yeah? But if you think that these things are a positive for Bruno Fernandes, and people want to ignore it because he gets numbers, don't expect Man United to be a serious outfit. Don't expect them to be a serious outfit. Because as I said, yeah, the amount of fans that think Bruno is the best signing since Sir Alex Ferguson, you know, the best signing since Cantona, all this other nonsense that we have to hear on a daily basis, yeah? What's he got to show since he's been at Manchester United? Two chokes in a European final, an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup. The legends that I've mentioned, yeah, because I actually see a comment the other day where a fan even had the cheek to say that Bruno Fernandes is better than Zidane. Like, if I thought the Bellingham one was worse, what was mad, the Bruno one's even more stupid. You know what I mean? And again, Zinedine Zidane, Ballon d'Or winner, World Cup winner, European Championship winner, Champions League winner, Ronaldinho, Ballon d'Or, Champions League winner, World Cup winner. Copa America winner. Francesco Totti, league winner, World Cup winner. Mesut Ozil, World Cup winner. Didn't win a Premier League with Arsenal, but that's not really a surprise. La Liga winner, Champions League winner. Dennis Bergkamp, league winner. Yeah. All these top players that I'm mentioning with Bruno Fernandes, yeah. Ain't it a surprise that these guys have all won Ballon d'Ors, Champions Leagues, World Cups? And this is a guy that's been held up as, you know, one of the best players the Premier League has ever seen. But yet he's got an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup to show for it. Yeah. But then people will tell you, but if Bruno was playing for a Bayern Munich or a Real Madrid or a PSG or a Barcelona, Man City, whoever, he'll be winning titles. Them teams are never signing him. So let's get that notion out of our heads, because, well, not out of my head. You know, let's get the notion out there from a lot of fans that think that these clubs are actually going to sign Bruno. They never signed him in his prime, yeah. And why would they sign him now, considering how much he's going to cost? Yeah. So that's the first thing. Pass accuracy, 82.5%. Mesut Ozil, 87.2%. So an 82.5% pass accuracy for a player that plays week in, week out, yeah, playing a number 10 position is poor. It is just poor, because the number 10s are meant to be keeping the ball. Yeah. I'm never going to be of the opinion that a number 10, it is acceptable for a number 10 to be giving the ball away as often as he does. I'm never going to be of that opinion, because that's not the way that I see football. Yeah. Not to mention, as I keep telling you guys, Bruno Fernandes is number 8 anyway. Final third accuracy, 76.5% Bruno Fernandes, 85% Mesut Ozil. So again, final third accuracy. So a lot of that comes down to decision making. Now, I give credit where credit's due. When Bruno Fernandes made that the assist for Brian Mbeumo, great weight of pass, you know, good decision making, which meant that obviously Brian Mbeumo finished it first time. And those are the kind of things that I do rate, because, you know, if I'm honest with you, watching that game, I didn't expect Bruno to make that right decision. But the fact that he made the right decision, great weight of pass, great finish. The Cunha one as well, great through ball, great weight of pass. Cunha obviously didn't have to break stride, finishes it in the bottom corner. So again, things like that I do rate. But the fact that he's got a 76.5% final third accuracy, what that should tell you guys, yeah, is that his decision making, yeah, and his weight of pass usually isn't that good. That's the truth. Whereas Mesut Ozil, you can trust him in the final third, because Mesut Ozil doesn't spam balls. You know, Mesut Ozil is a connector. He always chooses the right way of pass the majority of the time. And as you can see, 85% for a final third accuracy is actually good. 76.5%. So he's almost doubled. He's almost less double than what Ozil's actually doing, which is poor, really. And this is a guy that's on 29 appearances already. So the likelihood of him making Mesut Ozil's number, it's not going to happen, because he's very careless in possession. Big up to Lumi Rain as well. Big up yourself. Guys, I will get back onto your questions and comments after. Shot accuracy. Now, this is poor. When I see this, yeah, I thought, no way is his shot accuracy that low, yeah. But then again, I don't know why we should be surprised, because 29.7% shot accuracy is poor. I don't think I've ever seen a player that plays as often as Bruno Fernandes, have a shot accuracy that low. And again, his shots per 90 are 2.6, and he's got a shot accuracy of 29.7%. And the very fact here that you take away his penalties, he has 4 league goals. All of a sudden, are those stats impressive? And as Lumi Rain has just said, big up to Lumi Rain, these are the stats they don't show you on TV. And you know what? This is key, because when Sky Sports and the pundits, and certain fans run away with the narrative that Bruno Fernandes is this and that, these are the kind of things I don't want to show you, because as we know with football, and how football's become, it's all about pushing a certain narrative. And the narrative is Bruno Fernandes apparently is the best 10 in the world. Again, that's a complete lie. Just do your homework and have a look at how many number 10s are actually playing in football right now, because there ain't too many. Again, I've mentioned to you guys already, the only 4 players that are playing predominantly as a number 10 in the Premier League is Morgan Gibbs-White, Emil Smith-Rowe, Cole Palmer, and Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. If you look around world football in terms of the top leagues, Real Madrid play a Jude Bellingham in there. Again, I don't rate Jude Bellingham. He's poor, but he plays more of a number 8, number 10. So you can probably say around Europe, if you want to compare him with Bellingham, even though those are 2 guys that are massively overrated, and those are 2 guys that are not number 10s. Barcelona have Fermin Lopez, who's a youngster who plays as a number 10 for Barcelona. Real Madrid have Musiala, Leonard Cole, 2 youngsters. And that's it. That is it. So again, who is he actually competing against? Not many players. So when people are telling you he's the best 10 in the league or the best 10 in the world, just go and have a check, at who he's competing against. And again, big up to Wayne Griffin, says Cherky. Again, Cherky is a number 10, Wayne, but Cherky has only just started playing there quite recently for City. Because if you actually remember, before they got Semenyo, and again, it's been very smart by Pep, when they brought in Semenyo, he started playing Cherky in his position as a number 10. And Cherky's the best 10 in the league right now. And he's a future Ballon d'Or winner for me as well, Ryan Cherky. And again, that's a player already, after his first season, is better than Bruno Fernandes. And again, open play, guys. Because open play is key, by the way. Who has the most open play assists? Someone just type it in the chat, and then you'll see where I'm going with this. And this is what I'm trying to tell you, The very fact that he takes set pieces is clouding the judgment, because you take him off the set pieces, you'll get to see just how ordinary Bruno Fernandes is. His game is masked by numbers, and I would argue that with anyone, because you cannot tell me this is a guy that plays good the majority of the time, because he doesn't. So again, just comparing him with Ozil, I'm not. If you want to compare the footballer, Mesut Ozil is 10 times better than Bruno Fernandes as a pure 10. Looking at the numbers from their best seasons as a creator, yes, Mesut Ozil has 6 more appearances than him. The only metric, that Bruno probably overtakes Ozil might be the goals and assists. And again, it's very key why I'm saying this, because this is all what people look at, GA. The majority of fans out there just look at GA. But look at all the other metrics, the chances created, the passes, successful passes, missed passes per 90, pass accuracy, final third accuracy, shots per 90 minutes. He's less than Ozil in all of them. But he'll only probably beat him in GA. And that's because, why is that? Because he takes every set piece. This is the problem, guys. So again, you don't have to agree with me. But understanding these kind of things goes a long way. And this is why when people ask me, why don't I rate Bruno Fernandes? Because when I'm comparing him with players on my screen like this, yeah, this is the standard for number 10s. That is the standard. Mesut Ozil, Ronaldinho, Zidane, Totti, Bergkamp, amongst a lot of others. Yeah. And again, they're like, these guys didn't play predominantly as a central 10 for their clubs. Ronaldinho played on the left for Barcelona. Ozil played as a 10. Zidane played left midfield for Real Madrid. Totti and Bergkamp both played as part of a striking force, but they were the number 10s. So that is the level, guys, that I'm judging a Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. The Premier League right now, the best 10 is Ryan Cherky. Why is that? Because Ryan Cherky is a pass-first player. And pass-first players is what a number 10 is meant to be. Not playing support striker and trying to get your numbers up to try and keep yourself relevant. Football should never be like that. Yeah. So again, guys, this is what I'm looking at. Let me go through some of your comments. And as always, guys, make sure you are subbing to the channel. Make sure you're sharing the channel. And again, make sure you hype the channel. We'll go through some of your questions and comments. Let's see. Yeah, big up to Fitz says, take set pieces off. Bruno, he has 13 chances created in open play. There we go. These are the stats that Sky Sports don't want to talk about because it's a narrative that they're trying to push. Just like many other narratives that they try and push with other players. So again, take him off set pieces. He's got 13 chances created, which is embarrassing for a guy that's had 29 appearances and has played the majority of all the games. Embarrassing. Big up Clockender says, Mesut 10 times easier on the eye than Bruno. 100% he is. 100%. And again, when I'm comparing Bruno to them players, yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that as footballers, those players are far and clear of him. But if you want to bring the numbers into it, on Bruno's best season, his numbers ain't better than theirs either. So again, the hype about Bruno doesn't really make sense to me. Makes no sense. Bruno's projected to miss 340. Sorry, Bruno projected 340 missed passes this season. That's your number 10, guys, apparently. A guy that misses passes for fun. Is that acceptable? Can't be. Not for me. Clockender says, I will say this though, boys. If you had a proper team around Bruno. But again, this is the narrative here that people want to run with, yeah? And again, when people are saying, yeah, if you had a proper team around Bruno, I'll tell you why this doesn't make any sense, yeah? Because if you're going to judge a player because he gets GA, as to say, if there was a proper team around him because he gets GA, the number 10 position is meant to be the connector, as I keep saying. It's arguably one of the most important positions, you know, in football, from connecting the midfield to the attack. Yeah. If we had a connector in midfield, like a number 10, like a Zidane, even a Mesut Ozil, I guarantee you, yeah, this chat about building a team around Bruno wouldn't be there. It wouldn't be there. Because people are only saying because Bruno gets GA, we should be building a team around Bruno. The GA gets him out of the GA puts him in conversations for that. That's a fact. Whatever happened to just judging a player on pure performance? Whatever happened to that? So again, it's not about building a team around Bruno. Yeah, he's been one of the ever presents for Manchester United. Yeah, he's been there for 7 years. In 7 years, he's won what, 2 or 3 trophies, Carabao and FA Cup. Who are we going to start blaming? How about we just remove Bruno and get in some better quality? I'd much rather have players in my team, yeah, in Manchester United, that are better footballers than someone that gets numbers. because numbers can be replaced. This is what people are not understanding. We've got attackers in Ahmad, Cunha, Mbeumo, Sesko, Xerxes. Between those players, they can all share around the goals that Bruno would get. But I'd much rather have a cohesive midfield where we can build attacks properly than having a guy like that he might get GA because he's on set pieces, but everyone else is struggling. Same thing when Ronaldo came in. Ronaldo came in, he took away the goals from Greenwood, from Bruno, and from Rashford and that, yeah. So everyone else struggled while he was getting numbers. And then Man United recorded their lowest ever finish until Amorim, another Portuguese guy, took over. You know what I mean? Numbers will get replaced, guys. Build the team first. And if you've got a player in Bruno Fernandes that is just dominating everything in terms of the set pieces, you know, get rid of him, build a proper team. And I guarantee you, you'll see better from Manchester United. It's that simple. Ozil does clear Bruno easily. He does. But the very fact there that Sky Sports done a list, yeah, of Jamie Carragher and Roy Keane, yeah, when they done central midfielders. Now again, guys, you have to read between the lines, yeah. The reason why that list made no sense, yeah, is because when they're saying central midfielders, yeah, they're not even understanding that they're picking Bruno Fernandes in there, but they're picking him as a number 10. A number 10 is not central midfield, by the way. Yeah, Makaleli was in there. He didn't play central midfield. He was a DM. Yeah, so that whole list was flawed anyway, because you've got number 10s in there, David Silva, De Bruyne. Then you've got central midfielders in there like Roy Keane and Vieira. Then you've got DMs in there like Rodri and Makaleli. So that list was flawed anyway. And the very fact that Paul Pogba wasn't in there, Moussa Dembele wasn't in there, and Mesut Ozil wasn't in there, but Bruno's in there. And I've already shown you that Bruno's best season doesn't beat Mesut Ozil's. So this is why you got to be very careful of the nonsense that Sky Sports and a lot of these pundits are trying to peddle out. And that's why I say ignore them, man. Just switch off your Sky, you know, and just ignore them, because these guys are just lying. That's literally what they're doing. They're just lying. Yo, Gav, I met Bruno and Bayinda the other day. Cool, man. If you meet Bruno again, tell him to leave the club. Oh, unlucky. Yeah, if you meet Bruno again, Palestine, man, tell him to leave the club, man. We need to move on as a team. Cherky is a 10, still better than Bruno Fernandes. It's not even a debate, man. Not even a debate. Again, people will only tell you Bruno's better than Cherky because of numbers. That's where football's gone. Is Eze a good 10? He is. He's a good 10. He is, but I just don't think he's a good 10 for Arsenal. And that's nothing to do with Eze. It's because Arsenal don't play the kind of football that can make Eze thrive. It's the same reason why Martin Odegaard is struggling. Because Arsenal have gone to a very much a physical, direct team. And then what happens if you're going to play like that? Your number 10s are going to struggle, which is why Odegaard's struggling, you know, and this is why Eze is not getting the best out of Eze. That's the reason, you know. The way I know Gav isn't biased is that Gav still gives Bruno credit when it's. But listen, I wouldn't come on here, yeah, and just criticize someone just for the sake of it, because then obviously that will just seem as biased, isn't it? And just one-sided. When Bruno does well, I give credit. But the problem is, we're in an era of football now, yeah, where if you've got a player that gets numbers and is rated in the media, as soon as you say something against that player, a lot of these fans just come out and just chat. But the problem is, these guys can only tell you about GA. But then when you break down the GA and break down things like I'm breaking down today, these guys don't want to have the conversation because they just want to build a narrative. That's all it is, isn't it? You know what I mean? But the assists for Mbeumo, the assists for Cunha, no doubting they were great assists. But a lot of these assists are not direct assists or true assists, as I say. Gav, you doing United today? No, I can't. I'm actually out. I'm out in the evening. Yeah, I'm annoyed, man. I wanted to watch it. I was actually going to do a watch along, but I'm actually out. But guys, I will be here late. I will be here tomorrow though for the title decider between City and Arsenal. So yeah, Lumi, make sure you're coming through. You know, make sure you're there watching because I don't want you doing a Mamba. Yeah, Fitz, let Lumi know what Mamba did. Yeah, Mamba, that kind of behavior there is why you'll get beat tomorrow. Yeah, because you see him upstairs, he's watching. Trust me. Mamba only went to come into the chat, yeah, when Arsenal actually got through. So let's hope you're there tomorrow, Lumi. As of today, Cherky leads in open play assists with 10. Yeah, well, listen, who would have been surprised? That is what you call a proper number 10. And again, Cherky's someone, yeah, doesn't take the penalties. He does take the free kicks and the corners, but I don't think he's on every single one. But Bruno Fernandes just literally takes everything. So again, and Cherky's got 10 open play assists. Open play assists, guys, should be the measure of how you kind of look at a creator like someone like a Cherky. The fact that Bruno has got less open play assists just tells you everything. You know, just tells you everything. Yeah, guys, make sure you're smashing the likes. Make sure you're subbing to the channel if you're new in here. And make sure you share the channel as well and hype the channel. Big up. The Q&A stream was quality. Will you do another one for the 3K milestone? Yeah, listen, I'll definitely be doing another one, 100%. Not sure when, but obviously I will be doing a live fitness session as well, circuit session as part of the super chat. And obviously, guys, there's one today as well. There's a super chat today. So if anyone makes a super chat in today's stream, I'll be creating a Discord group as well for all the regular viewers. So I'll be creating Discord. So again, if anyone makes a super chat in this stream, there'll be a Discord coming out. Remember when the media and narrative said we was faking injuries? Faking injuries. Yeah. Oh, whoa. Yeah. Listen. But who would have thought, man? Who would have thought that you guys were picking up injuries? Not really a surprise, is it? Saka's out. Rice is struggling. That was always bound to happen because Mikel Arteta has been rinsing these players, and again, that is a sign, yeah, of poor management. Because we was told that Arsenal got the best squad in the world, apparently, yeah, and Mikel Arteta didn't think so because he's not been using his squad right. You know, Timber as well, another one. Saliba, Gabriel. These guys are all carrying injuries, by the way. Madueke's out injured now. You know, mad. If people want to talk about GA, Ozil got 81 assists in 3 seasons at Real Madrid. Ridiculous. And again, how many of them were from set pieces as well? I'm trying to tell you. How many of them from set pieces? This is where you can judge if someone's a real creator or not. Not someone that's on every set piece, because yeah, set pieces have their place in the game, yeah. But if you're someone that is just lean on set pieces to try and top up your numbers, is it really that credible? Because I don't think it is. You look at all the top players, yeah, they weren't all like relying on set pieces like that, like a Bruno Fernandes. Great question. Exeter says, well, not question, but comment, shall I say. There is no player in this era of football that starts in the teams from the 90s or the 2000s. That's not even a that's not even like a disrespect. I would say, yeah, there are players that can be in the conversation. Yeah. If I look at the Premier League, yeah, for instance, I could probably only tell you, yeah, there's probably, I look at one player from the Premier League in terms of ability, in terms of just an all-round player, yeah, I'm probably looking at one player that can be comparable to those teams, yeah. And I'm probably looking at someone like Reece James. He's probably the only one that I'm looking at. Because I look at Arsenal, no one. I look at I tell you a lie. I think Man City have a few, but I think for Turkey it's still too early because he's still got a lot more to do. Rodri could, yeah, I think Rodri could be in there actually. To be fair, so I'd probably say Rodri, Bernardo Silva, Reece James. Yeah, I'd probably only say them really as players that can get into the 90s or the 2000 teams, or that can actually be um, part of the squad. Yeah, and that's low. Whereas I look at Spain, yeah, again, these players are still young, but their trajectory is there. Pedri's, Yamal, Vitinha, Dembele. But even that, like, I'm not even that confident. You know what I mean? And I think that just tells Harry Kane as well, another one, Elise. But these guys can all be in the conversation. But how many of them would start in the 90s or the 2000 teams? And I think that just tells you where football's at the moment. It's in a bad place. Great question. Elise or Yamal? Two of the best players in the world right now. If I had to pick one, and again, it's not going to do any disservice to the other player because it could be either one. But I'm going to say Yamal because I think Yamal to be doing what he's doing at 18, it is scary. It is actually scary what he's doing at 18. Name me a player. I mean, Michael Owen was doing a madness. To be fair, in the Premier League at 18, Neymar was a madness at 18 as well. Messi was a madness at 18. Yamal's on that path, no doubt. Yamal's definitely on that path. You know, Michael Elise is a top player, man. Like, and I'm happy. I'm happy for Elise because he's getting his flowers that he wasn't really getting in this country. You know, because at Crystal Palace, you can clearly see, man, what a player he was. But going to Bayern Munich, yeah, he's definitely gone on to another level, man. And guys, I want you guys to take this in as well, yeah. I'm not saying he's this level, yeah, but you see Dango Utara. Watch out for Dango Utara. Like every time I watch him, yeah, he's got another gear to go out to go into, you know. And I look at Mo Salah replacements, yeah, at Liverpool. I said Yankuba Minte, yeah. Dango Utara is another one. There's this Dango Utara guy, yeah. He's got something, and when I watched him at Bournemouth, yeah, I didn't really rate him at Bournemouth. Since he's gone to Brentford, yeah, he's got something. He's definitely got something. He's definitely got something, man. I think he's a good player, you know, and I think he's got a big move in him after Brentford because he's definitely got something. Oh yeah, Coventry got promoted, man. Big up to Coventry. Yeah, listen, it's been a long time coming, man. And Coventry back in the Premier League. You know, last they were in the Premier League, man, is when they had man like what was his name? Who's the guy with the moustache? Mix something? No. What am I talking about? They had what's that guy's name, man? I've got his bloody name now. It's slipped my mind. It's gonna come back to me. I can't remember his name. But yeah, big up to Coventry, man. I mean, to be fair, Lampard, the guy's been given so much opportunities, and he's finally done something, man. So yeah, big up Coventry, man, in the Premier League next season. Let's see what happens. The Rico Arena. Yeah, big up to Deriles says, what's your thoughts on today's game? Bro, I said it, man. If we get a point, man, because as I said, I'm well and truly bored with this season, innit? Because like the season's been horrible, let's face it, yeah. But I just want United to get Champions League football and just see what we do in the summer. And today, if we pick up a point and that point helps us get Champions League football, I'm happy. You know what I mean? We are obviously suffering with injuries. Guys, I've heard that Lenny Yoro's out as well now. So we've got literally only Aiden Heaven as the recognized first team centre back. So again, that's gonna be crazy. Maguire suspended, Lissandro suspended, Yoro's injured, De Ligt still injured, like crazy. So Aiden Heaven, who hasn't even been playing lately, is gonna start. I've got a feeling, yeah. I think Carrick might play Casemiro there. You know that? I think he might play Casemiro because I think Kobe's back. So I think he might play Casemiro alongside Aiden Heaven at the back, and then play Yagate in midfield with Kobe if he's back. Or you never know. He could actually go to a three at the back. Who knows? But one thing's for certain, man. We've got to try and get out of there a point at least. And then, as I said, man, we need to just go in that market and just start signing some serious players, man, because I'm telling you now, if we get our window right, our incomings and departures, I'm telling you now, I can see a title charge. But a lot of it is gonna depend on our transfers and who we remove from the club, you know. Big up to Lumi Rain. Big up yourself, Lumi. Discord so I can mock you and Fitz when you aren't live. Yeah, listen, I'll set up the Discord 100%. I'll set it up over the next couple of days, and yeah, as I said, we'll get it going, innit? But listen, you guys just better focus on tomorrow, because I'll tell you now, your season, if you guys lose tomorrow, season's over for Arsenal. Season is over if you lose tomorrow, because the negative impact for me that it's going to take into the next game, you know, you've got, so that'll be City. If City win the game, City will be 3 points behind Arsenal with a game in hand. And then you guys have got tough games sandwiched in between Champions League against Atletico Madrid, which won't be easy. So tomorrow's season for Arsenal, yeah, it rests on tomorrow's game, sorry, for Arsenal, it rests their season, it rests on this game. So guys, make sure you come through as well. I'll be doing a live watch along for that one. And I'll tell you now, I'm looking forward to that, you know, and I'm looking forward to it, yeah, because you see, you Arsenal fans, you guys have been talking the most. So yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah, listen, Atara's a very good player, man. I wouldn't say he's a great player yet, but I'm saying you now, he's got something. Like, if Liverpool are clever, yeah, they need to be identifying him or Minte as the replacement for Salah. You know, they're both African as well, both got pace, left-footed. They need to be identifying Utara, because I'm telling you now, I don't think they can get Utara because I think he's just gone to Brentford, yeah. But then again, if they offer money to Brentford that they can't refuse, then who knows? But he's got something. I'm telling you, he's definitely got something. Hey, Fitz, Lee Dixon's from Manchester, yeah? He's one of the worst pundits I've heard, commentators I've heard. But he's from Manchester. I never knew that. Who do you think will be the perfect replacement, the perfect Bernardo Silva replacement at City? Again, good question from Wayne, yeah? But if you look at where Bernardo plays now, Bernardo's obviously a number 10 by trade. And obviously at City, he's playing as the 10 on the right as well. but now plays alongside Rodri in midfield. Yeah. So again, it's not about replacing Bernardo Silva's type of profile, because you've got left-footed number 10s in Ryan Cherky and Phil Foden anyway. Yeah. But in terms of replacing the position that he's playing, again, they're linked to Elliot Anderson. If they wanted to go like for like in terms of left-footed player in midfield, what Bernardo Silva's doing, dare I say it, Camavinga, you know what I mean? Adam Wharton, you know, Angelo Stiller. These guys are left-footed technician midfielders, you know. But if they're just going to replace a midfielder for a midfielder in where Bernardo's playing, then again, everything's been pointed towards Elliot Anderson. If they've got brains, yeah, they'll go and get Tonali. Like, but we need Tonali. So let's see what they do in it. But I ain't confident, man, because City are they're gonna go into madness, I think, in the window. Darren Huckabee, that's the guy. Darren Huckabee, that was his name. Darren Huckabee. Who else do they have? They had that guy with the moustache, man. I forgot his name. Oh, no, it wasn't Steve Staunton, not him. If you remember the goalkeeper, Steve Agrizovic, remember him? That's taking it way back. Mustafa Hadji. Oh, he was a bad boy, Mustafa Hadji. He was a bad boy. Chelsea will beat us today. Boy, listen, where's your confidence, man? Where's your belief? Just seeing your list of past players, no comparison, mate. Those players are too much for Bruno. There you go. There you go. And again, Bruno cannot light a candle to those players. Yeah. Totti, Zidane, Ronaldinho, Ozil, Bergkamp. Like these guys are deemed the best number 10s of their era. Yeah. Or in football, just in general. Yeah. And this is why when I hear Bruno's name getting sung about so often, you know, it definitely isn't for football. It's for numbers. And just doing the comparison, Bruno's best numbers for United is not comparable to those, if we're talking from creative stats. Yeah? So there you have it. Yeah, listen, bro, I'm concerned about our defense. But I don't want to hear no excuses, man. He's through. No, he's not. Yeah, I'm concerned. I'm concerned. But one way or another, man, we got to get a draw. If we get a draw, that more or less secures us Champions League. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm looking at. But it's not going to be easy, man. But Chelsea are poor. So, you know, if Caicedo and Cole Palmer are on their game today, it could get sticky. But who knows, man? Heaven and Shaw. I don't think it'll be Heaven and Shaw, man, because they're both left-footed. Like, you can't really be playing two left-footed. I mean, I know you can play two. I know you've seen two right-footed centre-backs before, but I think having two left-footed centre-backs doesn't really work for me. There was talk about Tyler Fredrickson as well. But for me, I wonder if he plays Casemiro. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, Luke Shaw could play there, but I'm not sure how that's going to work with Luke Shaw and Heaven, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. Max left back, Shaw centre back. Who's Max? Who's Max? I think you mean Mazraoui, yeah? As I said, I don't think Carrick plays two left-footed centre-backs. You know, I could be wrong, but I don't think he's going to play two left-footed centre-backs. You know, because let's not forget, yeah, Casemiro has played centre-back before for United. So he might play him there. Obviously, Casemiro being right-footed. And then, obviously, you got Ugarte. I mean, I don't want to see Ugarte play, don't get me wrong, but needs must, innit? You never know. He could play two left-side centre-backs, but I think it's unlikely, to be honest, but who knows? Yeah, big up Simon, man. Long time, man. Big up yourself. Big up for coming through. Carragher is a very good pundit. To be fair, in comparison to a lot of the others, he is, but that doesn't mean that you have to agree with everything he says. I think out of all the pundits on TV, he's probably the best one in terms of breaking down a game, because the rest of them are clueless. You know what I mean? And the rest of them, especially like the likes of Roy Keane, they're only on TV because they're quite brutal in what they say. But Roy Keane never breaks anything down. He just tells you got to run. Like, that's the main thing in football. Like, it's nonsense. But yeah, their list the other day was an embarrassment when you think about it. The top 10 list and the players they picked didn't make sense. And as Clocken has said, yeah, the very fact that Carragher, spat out a child, and still got his job, just tells you all you need to know, really, innit? You know what I mean? So, but yeah, in terms of him breaking down games, he's actually decent, but a lot of them just chat rubbish, a lot of them. What's your second Premier League favorite team? I haven't got one, to be honest with you. I haven't got one. As I said, my second team is Barcelona, man. So if United are pissing me off, then it's Barca. You know what I mean? I've liked Barca for years, man. Just some of the players they have. It used to be Real Madrid, but when R9 and Zidane went, good save. Dango Utara almost scored. If we want to win, then don't play Ugarte. I hear it. But I think, let's face it. If Casemiro does play centre back, then Ugarte is playing, because we ain't got no one else to play unless he drops Bruno back into midfield. But team selection today will be interesting to see what he does. Yeah, Tyler Fredrickson might play there. You never know. He might play there. Bruno is obviously not as good as those, but the fact you're using those to compare shows that he's pretty good. But again, you've missed the point. I'm actually comparing him to them to show you that he's not that good. So that's the trick. I'm showing you that he ain't that good, because when I see when fans are saying that he's better than Zidane, it's like delusion comes to mind, innit? And as I said, in terms of a footballer, he's nowhere near them players. Yeah. And then in terms of his numbers, as you can see, his numbers ain't nowhere near them players either. So these are the things. Well, I say nowhere near. His numbers ain't better than them. So again, I'm actually showing you that he's nowhere near them players. So it's not a comparison to show you that he's pretty good, because he's not. That's the facts. Yeah, listen, Brentford are a good team at home. They're obviously drawing with Fulham now, so it won't be easy, man. Igor Thiago, Kevin Schade, Dango Utara, part of the three. Yeah, Sesko will be on the bench. He's gonna go with Mbeumo, Ahmad, and Cunha. He's gonna go with them, and then use Sesko as an impact sub. But for me, as I keep saying to you, why Joshua Zirkzee is not getting much game time doesn't make sense, And I can only, and as I said earlier, guys, yeah, you have to look at it from Carrick's situation, yeah. Carrick is just doing what he needs to do to try and keep him in the conversation of getting the job for next season. So as much as Zirkzee is a top player, yeah, he's looking at who's more liable to get him goals. And he'll look at Sesko, he'll look at Mbeumo. Like, they're more liable to get him goals, which is why they're playing. But somehow, yeah, I just hope that Zirkzee stays, and he should stay. And then whoever's in charge, we just start using him properly, man, because the guy's a top footballer, man. And we're a club that haven't got too many top footballers, and he's definitely one of them. Zirkzee, Ahmad, Kobe Minu. Those are the three that I would say are top footballers. And then you got Mavericks like Cunha, obviously like Casemiro as well. You know, if you want to chuck Bruno in there, like these guys are not amongst the best footballers that we have. Ahmad, Kobe Minu, and Joshua Zirkzee are just the best footballers that we have at the club, no doubt. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's frustrating with Zirkzee, man. No, he's not playing. I think we lose too much leaving your guy in midfield and taking Cass out midfield, heaven in son. Yeah, listen. Do I want your guy playing? Hell no. I don't want your guy playing. He's terrible. Yeah, but the reality is, if Casemiro does play centre back, which again I'm not saying is going to happen, but because we've got no centre backs there, and if you're not going to play Shaw there, which I don't think two left-footed centre backs is great. If Fredriksson's not going to play, then Casemiro is an option. And if Casemiro does play there, if Kobe's not back, let's say, then Ugarte will have to play. But if Kobe's back, it's either he drops Bruno with Kobe, which I don't think is a good idea, or you just play Ugarte. So Ugarte might start. You never know. But for me, next season, he has to be out of the club, man. He's terrible. Yeah, exactly. Rice was in the list. Exactly. That is how dumb that list was from Carragher. And again, the way that Carragher plays the game doesn't really surprise me. Doesn't really surprise me on who he picked. The fact that he put Roy Keane second as all-time midfielders, again, is not really a surprise because Carragher was a poor footballer. And again, the way that he sees the game is all passion, all heart and passion. Because to put Declan Rice in there, but there's no Mesut Ozil, yeah, there's no Paul Pogba, there's no Moussa Dembele. It just shows you the thinking behind those two in the studio in what they picked. It's embarrassing, you know what I mean? And that's why I always say, don't listen to Sky Sports because them guys don't know what's going on. Mason Mount, another one. He's back in the squad, I think, as well. He could figure. Who knows? Veron was better than Bruno. Bro, of course Veron was better than Bruno. Of course he was better than Bruno. But his fans will tell you that he wasn't. And what does it always go back to? GA. Juan Sebastian Veron was more talented than Paul Scholes. He was. But again, Paul Scholes had the better career. And Paul Scholes is one of the best players that England have ever produced. Veron was mad. Veron was so talented. But the problem that Veron had was coming to Manchester United when you had the captain in Roy Keane and our best midfielder in Scholes. He was never going to be given the opportunity. But to say Veron's better than Bruno, man, it's like, find me someone that thinks Bruno's better than Veron and tell me that they haven't seen Veron play. You know what I mean? What fan said he's better than Zidane? I see something yesterday, yeah, and it was a comment on Facebook, and I had to check it twice. And a fan said, "There's not." Well, there was two comments that I see. Yeah, a fan said, and again, guys, when I actually wrap it up, yeah, watch the outro video. The outro video will probably show you as well. Make sure you watch that. It's a good one. Big up to Fitz as well. So again, I think a fan said that, was it Bruno is better than Zidane? And they said there's no metric in which Zidane is better than Bruno Fernandes. Like, these are real quotes, by the way, that I see from someone on Facebook, you know? And again, sometimes you think, is it banter? But these people are actually being serious. You know, it's crazy, man. Yeah, Wayne, I agree, man. I agree. But again, that Bruno Fernandes is not a number 10 anyway, and he shouldn't be the measuring stick. You know what I mean? Bruno is definitely the best 10 in the world this year. Black Foxy, man. I'm guessing you missed it earlier, yeah? And I'll explain this. And obviously the chat know where I'm going to go with this as well, yeah? So when people are saying that Bruno is the best 10 in the world, yeah? Like, it's disingenuous because there isn't many number 10s that are playing in football anymore. The number 10 position is a thing of the past, unfortunately. I'm hoping it comes back to that. But if you look at the Premier League, yeah, the only players that predominantly play as a number 10 in the Premier League is Emil Smith-Rowe, Morgan Gibbs-White, Kenan Dewsbury-Hall, and Cole Palmer. Ryan Cherky has only started playing as a number 10 recently because obviously Pep brought in Semenyo. Ryan Cherky's better than Bruno Fernandes. So again, he ain't the best 10 in the world. Ryan Cherky is. Yeah, that's the first thing. Secondly, if you're looking around the world, who plays with a number 10 around the world? Let's go to Spain. Real Madrid play a Jude Bellingham there, who's, again, isn't a number 10, and he's poor anyway. Yeah, Arda Güler's a 10, but Güler hasn't really been playing as often. So if you want to say Bellingham, it's not really a comparison, but cool. Barcelona, they play Fermin Lopez, who's a youngster. Yeah, so he's competing against Fermin Lopez, who's a youngster. Yeah, he's competing against Smith Rowe, Cole Palmer, who's better than him anyway. He hasn't been better than him this year, but he's just a better footballer than him anyway. Kenan Dewsbury-Hall, Gibbs-White. Then you go to Bayern Munich. Leonard Cole's a youngster who's out injured. Musiala has just returned from injury. They're the only number 10s in the top teams around the world that play. So when people are saying that he's the best 10 in the world, he's competing against no one. Not to mention, you've got a number 10 in Ryan Cherky that has only been playing there for a few games now, is better than him. So that's what it is. You know what I mean? Congratulations to Lampard to give him his flowers as a coach. Listen, Lampard's had the golden ticket, man. If you remember, this is a guy that went straight to manage Derby, didn't get them promoted, went to Chelsea, you know, didn't get into the top 4. And then he got sacked of Chelsea. Then where did he go after that? I forgot. Obviously, now he's at Coventry. He's got them promotion. But again, he's been given... Again, he's done very well with Coventry, don't get me wrong. But he's been given opportunities that a lot of other players weren't given. Or ex-players, should I say. Listen, Xerxes won a... The wife tells me otherwise, Gav. But listen, Xerxes one of them players, yeah, there or less, yeah. He's one of them players where if you're not really a lover of football and you're a casual fan, you won't see the use in Xerxes. That's the best way that I can describe it, yeah. I'm someone that is just been... I've grown up with football. I've played, you know what I mean? I've coached, I've watched it. And football is something that I just know just like that. You know what I mean? So, as I said, if you're just a casual fan or you're a fan of the football club and not really of football, the aesthetics of football, then you won't rate Xerxes. But Xerxes is arguably our best footballer at the club. But what fans tend to do, yeah, they look at his GA, they look at his language style, and immediately they make their decision based off of that. Just go and watch. If you just watch Xerxes closely and watch the elegance of how he plays, yeah, the guy's got a great first touch, great technique. Go and have a look at his goal that they tried to give Bruno Fernandes the assist for against Crystal Palace. That was nothing to do with Bruno Fernandes. That was just Joshua Xerxes' technique and his quality off of his weaker foot, by the way. So again, there's people out there that don't rate Xerxes, but I think a lot of that comes to do because they're casual fans, unfortunately. Because you cannot tell me that Xerxes is no good, but then you rate Bruno Fernandes. Doesn't make sense. Because you're rating Bruno because of numbers, but then you don't rate Xerxes because of what? Because you can't tell me that Xerxes isn't a great footballer, because he is. He's a top footballer, you know. So that is how I kind of narrow it down with the people that don't rate Xerxes. Xerxes should be a backup striker if Sesko gets injured. Again, I disagree. And I'll tell you why I disagree, yeah? Football's about partnerships, yeah? Football's about balance as well. If you look at our Man United's front line, yeah, And this is where understanding comes into it. Man United playing Bruno Fernandes, Benjamin Sesko, Brian Mbeumo, and Matthias Cunha is never gonna work. Never gonna work. It's the same thing when I told you guys, yeah, before, if you was here from the start of the channel, Bruno Fernandes, Alejandro Garnacho, Marcus Rashford, and Rasmus Højlund was never gonna work. The reason for that is you need to have footballers in the front line. Garnacho, Bruno, Højlund, and Rashford, they're all players that are more effective without the ball in terms of running. Yeah. If you've got runners in your front line, you are never going to play a good brand of football. It's impossible. Fast forward to Bruno, Mbeumo, Cunha, and Sesko. You know, Bruno's the ever-present still, yeah, who isn't a great footballer, spam ball. Brian Mbeumo's not a great footballer. Matthias Cunha is a maverick, but you could say he's a bit careless with the ball as well. And Benjamin Sesko is not a link man. He's someone that plays on the shoulder and has good movement. So again, if you don't think Xerxes should be the striker or should be backup, you need to have at least two footballers as part of your front line. So if you want to play with a number 10, a striker, and two wide players, two of them have to be Xerxes and Ahmad because they're footballers. If you want to have a Cunha in there and you want to have another player that's more of an athlete, the balance is there. You'll have two players that are footballers, two players that are runners. But a front line's never going to work if you've got purely runners than footballers. Look at Liverpool, for instance, when they had Salah, Firmino, and Mane. You had Salah and Mane, who were the athletes that got numbers, but who knitted it all together? Bobby Firmino, because he was the link man, number 10, that ended up playing as a false 9. And that is how football works. Joshua Xerxes in the front line, if you've got Ahmad as a number 10, and then you've got, let's say, a Cunha and an Mbeumo, that will work because you've got one guy that's got pace and that gets goals, the other who's a maverick and is quite careless with the ball, but then you've got two players in Xerxes and Ahmad that have ball retention. So that balance works. And again, if people don't want to understand that, that's up to you. This is the reason why MSN was so deadly, because you've got Messi and Neymar, who are two of the best players in the world. They were creators first and scored goals. Yeah. Then you had Luis Suarez, who was a goal scorer and a creator as well. So you're getting the best of both worlds from all three. Yeah. Not to mention, these guys were all adept at keeping the ball. And the way Barca played, as we know, with that midfield behind them, you know what I mean? That was always going to happen. And again, that's just balancing football. So to say that Xerxes should be backup striker if Sesko gets injured, no way. Sesko's the one that should be the backup striker. Because as you can see, Sesko is more effective as an impact sub. He does his best work as an impact sub, not as a starter. You know? Mata was also Mata was better than Bruno. Of course he was. But again, Mata didn't get GA, so fans won't tell you that. Like to compare Pogba with Bruno is crazy. Bruno Fernandes is nowhere near Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba is the best footballer of his generation, easily. Him and Thiago Alcantara, they're the two best pure footballers of their generation, if you know your football anyway. But again, to compare Bruno with Pogba is ridiculous. And again, fans that do that, it just shows me that there's either a hidden agenda there, or you're not really understanding what football's meant to be about. That's literally all it is. I'm going 2-1 City with Semenyo and Haaland scoring. I actually think, yeah, if City get an early goal, and when I say early goal, if they get an early goal from minute 1 to 20, I think it could be a 3 or 4-0 game. I'm just telling you. It might sound crazy, but if City get an early goal, it could be a 3 or 4-0 game. And I'll tell you why, yeah? Because Arsenal know that they cannot afford to lose the game. If City get an early goal, Arsenal are going to have to open up and try and go for City. And, you know, and there's going to be gaps. They've got pace on the counter with Haaland, Semenyo, and Doku. And then you've got the pure creator in Cherki. So, again, the first 20 minutes is going to be key for Arsenal. Arsenal will be playing for a draw, which again, if Arsenal got anything about them, they'll go and try and win the game. But if City get an early goal, it could be a bloodbath. It could be 3 or 4-0. Just saying. You've heard it here first. But the first goal will be key if they get an early goal. Wayne says, I never got to see Moussa Dembele. How good was he? Wayne, if you never saw Moussa Dembele, yeah, then this is what I'm trying to tell you. And it will even more highlight, yeah, why you never catch me rating players like Bruno Fernandes. Yes, Bruno got better numbers than Dembele, but this whole number conversation is a waste of time, because the way football's gone now, where people just rate numbers, doesn't really make sense to me, yeah? But what I'll tell you, yeah, Moussa Dembele, if anyone knows his career, actually started off as a striker. He used to play for AZ Alkmaar before he went to Fulham. So he played as a striker for AZ Alkmaar. Fulham bought him, and then he gradually started playing slightly deeper as a number 10. And then Tottenham signed him, central midfielder. What a player. Just go and watch some clips of him, and you'll see how good he was. Didn't get numbers, but the quality of his performances was just there. So yeah, he was a top player, Dembele, man, no doubt. Big up to Mojo King. Am I doing a watch along tonight? No, I can't do a watch along tonight. I'm actually out, but I'll be doing a watch along tomorrow for the Man City and Arsenal game. So I'll be live at 4:15 for a 4:30 kickoff. So guys, yeah, make sure you're there, man. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. And again, yeah, listen, it's gonna be a tense one. Let's see what Arsenal have got, man. Because as I said, if Arsenal lose this game, season's done for them, and their fans have to show up, Lumi Rain included. Right, guys, I'm going to go through a few more of your questions and comments before I wrap it up. But again, make sure you stay to the end, guys, because you're going to find the outro video. If you missed it already, you're going to find it funny. So, yeah, make sure you stay to the end. Gavin Fitz definitely changed my mind, though. I've been groomed on Bruno. But Clockenders, you know what it is now, yeah? It's good to see, man, that you're open to a difference of opinion. That's what football's about. It's about opinion, isn't it? Like, I never once come on it and tell anyone to agree with what I'm saying. But the one thing that I have in my column, yeah, is that I've played football, you know, and I've been invested in football for the entirety of my life. And again, I'm someone that very much has my own opinion. You know, I never get swayed by media, pundits, etc. So what I would say, yeah, is that I've got no reason to just crash it on Bruno Fernandes, because he plays for my team, and all I want is my team to be successful in Manchester United. But what I do call out, yeah, is when there is just unjust praise for a player that is literally a detriment to his own team. Whether people want to agree with that or not is up to them. But when I watch Bruno Fernandes, yeah, and we're not getting the best out of an Ahmad, out of a Cunha, Xerxes doesn't get game time, I don't think people ask themselves the reason why that is. The very much reason is, as I've mentioned to you guys before, Bruno Fernandes takes away from them players, because Ahmad's a 10 who's having to play out wide and not get on the ball as much. Cunha's a 10 who's having to play left wing. Xerxes can't get game time as a 9. And it all revolves around Bruno Fernandes, because he takes up a position where others have to fit in and around him. And all fans can tell you is that, but he gets GA. It's crazy. Go and have a check of Iniesta, Zidane's GA in one season, and you'll be surprised. You know, these guys average like 6 goals a season. You know, but again, Sky Sports don't want to tell you that. Rodgers is a 10-2. He is, but Rodgers is playing more as a left winger. So predominantly, the players that are playing predominantly as a number 10 in the Premier League, Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall plays number 10 week in, week out. So does Gibbs White. So does Emil Smith-Rowe. And you could say Cole Palmer. And now Cherky does. And again, Bruno's not better than Cherky. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. But the only reason fans would tell you Bruno's better than Cherky, because it goes back down to the same old conversation. He gets GA. He's got the most assists. But then you take off his, if you want to start talking about assists, open play assists. Who's got the most? Ryan Cherky. Again, that's the convo that people don't want to have. Right, guys, I'm going to whiz through some of the questions. So if I have missed out your question, it is what it is. If you want your question read out, then you know what you got to do. He is. He is. Big up to Simon. Yeah, comparing Bruno and Pogba is like comparing a Morris Minor and a Rolls Royce. And let me tell you now, Pogba's the Rolls Royce, yeah? So before anyone started thinking Bruno was the Rolls Royce. I'm pretty sure you guys didn't think that anyway, you know? Why aren't we talking about the mighty Burnley? Because we're not. Pure and simple. I think they'll go down Burnley as well, to be fair. But I think Scott Parker's actually a decent manager. Burnley are a much bigger team than Arsenal and City. That's actually crazy, actually. I had a chance to go and play for Burnley, funny enough, when I was 17 or 18. Yeah, it's crazy. You know, it's actually funny that Jack Cork was actually at Chelsea when I was there as well. He was a few years younger than me, which is crazy, man. Never did I think, man, he'll end up becoming a Premier League footballer. But yeah, he did, man. Crazy. This is the best live ever. People who know football. Yeah, big up, man. Big up. Guys, make sure you're smashing the likes as well. Smash the like button, sub to the channel, hype the channel as well, and share the channel, guys. I think the hyping might be on the description. So if you go onto there, it might show you on there to hype the channel. Moussa Dembele was a monster player. He looked like he controlled the whole midfield by himself at times. He's the closest to Yaya in terms of dominating the midfield, in my opinion. Yeah, big up Mojo, man. What I would say as well, yeah, there's only been one player, yeah, one player in midfield that literally has given Paul Pogba, you know, literally an even game, and that was Dembele. He's the only one that I can say has given Pogba trouble. You know, Moussa Dembele was a ridiculous footballer, man. Strong, good change of pace, dribbling and touch was just immaculate, like ridiculous. And this is why when you look at players like that were just pure footballers, these guys never had GA. So why this GA talk is the be all and end all for fans makes no sense. So my prediction tonight is 2-1 to United. I'm gonna go 1-1. I'm gonna go 1-1. But then again, I just hope our defense doesn't play its part, man, in letting us down. But to have no centre backs really, and only Aiden Heaven as their only recognised centre back, yeah, he's mad. But let's see in it. When was Bruno ever an 8? Karen, man, I'm guessing you've only ever seen Bruno within the last couple of seasons because Bruno Fernandes is number 8. You probably don't even know, yeah, that Bruno Fernandes actually used to play right back. You probably don't even know that. When he was in Italy, he used to play right back. That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. Like, fans that think Bruno's a 10, like, you have to be in your 20s, young 20s, because Bruno's never been a number 10. He plays in a number 10 position, but that doesn't mean that he's a number 10. He can just play there. But he's actually a number 8. Just like Jude Bellingham, they're number 8s. So when you're saying that, when was Bruno ever an 8? I'm like, no disrespect, but you're probably in your 20s. So you've only probably seen Bruno over the last couple of seasons because he never was a number 10. He come into Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer played him in a number 10 position, but he's never been a number 10. That's not a number 10. I'm sure even at Sporting he played the same role he did there. So yeah, he played as an 8 and as a number 10 for Sporting as well. So before United signed him, he played more in the 10, but originally he was playing as a number 8. But again, the characteristics of Bruno Fernandes is not a number 10 anyway. Like when I'm talking about the likes of Ronaldinho, Zidane, Ozil, you know, Bergkamp, Totti, Del Piero, Aymar, Riquelme. Like you can just see that these guys are 10s. It's like it might not be easy. It's hard to explain, but if you just watch them players, you can just tell they're number 10s. Bruno's not a 10. He's not silky. That's the best way to describe it. All number 10s are silky. They're silky players. They're the most talented players. Bruno's not that. Arteta is a fraud. Listen, Arteta and that Liam Rossini, yeah, they're two of the most cringiest managers I've ever seen. I swear them guys are plugged in. I'm telling you. Two of the cringiest managers I've ever seen. There you go. Bruno's got 8 tattooed on his arm. Buying her after JJ Gabriel. Yeah, listen, Gabriel's a top. He's gonna be a top player, I believe. But it's not a surprise they're after him. You know what I mean? All the top clubs are after him. Barcelona want him as well. But the only way we can keep him is by introducing him next season into the first team, and then giving him a platform to do what he's doing, innit? Right, guys, listen, I'm going to wrap it up anyway. But listen, big up to yourselves for coming on each and every time. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you sub to the channel. And make sure you share the channel as well. And hype it, guys. And make sure you stay on because the outro video is going to be a good one. So if you missed it, then again, I'm going to put the outro on. Big up to Fitz as well. But as I said, guys, let me know what you think about the comparison with Bruno Fernandes. Because as I said, he and I'll show it on the screen one more time, yeah, just so you guys know, yeah. So comparing him as a footballer to Ozil, Ronaldinho, Zidane, Totti, and Bergkamp, there's no way you can compare him as a footballer to these greats, yeah. So again, if you want to compare the numbers, yeah, if you want to take off the set pieces for all these players and focus on open play, yeah. These numbers are all based on their best seasons, yeah, as a creator, which is what Bruno Fernandes is supposedly meant to be, yeah. As I said, we went through it earlier. His numbers are not better than any of them in his best season. If you're taking off set pieces, it's a fact, yeah. If you even want to go on to comparing him with Mesut Ozil, yeah. Again, the only thing Bruno could beat him in is what this era's become, and that's GA. But when you want to look at the metrics here of what a supposed number 10 is meant to be, passing, yeah, successful passes, accuracy in passing, shot accuracy, shots per 90 minute, final third accuracy. Those are what a number 10 is meant to be revered as, yeah, in terms of what they're meant to provide. Yeah. And as you can see, yeah, he's got 6 more appearances to reach Ozil's 35 in his best season. And he's not gonna beat Ozil's numbers. And that's what you call a proper number 10 in Mesut Ozil, someone that played in the Premier League, but was left out of Sky Sports' central midfielders. But Bruno was put in there with Declan Rice. You know, these are the kind of things that Sky Sports and the pundits want to ignore. But the one thing about me, it will never be ignored. So it is what it is, guys, yeah? But big up to yourselves. Let me know in the comments what you think. Obviously, I'm not live tonight for the watch along. But guys, we will be back tomorrow at 4:15 for the we'll be back tomorrow at 4:15 for the title decider between City and Arsenal. Massive game. So yeah, make sure you guys are there for the watch along. And again, I'll be live later tomorrow night as well for WrestleMania part 2 or day 2, should I say. So again, if you're a wrestling fan, myself and Fitz will be doing a watch along, which is bound to be good. Obviously, the biggest event of the year for wrestling. So yeah, make sure you guys are there. And I appreciate you guys coming on. Big up to all the mods as usual. And as I said, guys, make sure you're subbing to the channel if you're new and you smash the like as well. And guys, before you go, make sure you watch the outro video. But big up to yourselves, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.
Send in the clowns. The clowns.